The Radleys is a horror, not really a horror, it's more of a, I don't know how to describe it, but it's basically a vampire movie, but it's more of a drama thriller than a horror. It's based off of The Radleys by Matt Haig. He's a favorite author of mine. The Radleys is probably his most commercial book. The rest of them usually have something to do with mental health or fiction or nonfiction otherwise, but The Radleys, I would not consider it one of his better books because it's kind of different from his other ones. It doesn't really have much of a point. But we're following the Radleys. They are a family. There's Helen and Peter. They're a very boring couple. Peter is a doctor. Helen does volunteering and book club and stuff. And they're practicing veganism. So they're abstainers. They're vampires who don't drink blood. And it makes them sallow-skinned and kind of lethargic, and you know, different vampires have different rules. So for this one, they don't fear sunlight, but they look sallow because they're not at their full potential. And their daughter Clara feels sick after drinking some booze, and one of the teens, a jerky guy, attacks her in the forest, and she basically kills him and drinks his blood. And the parents find out, so they call in Uncle Will. He is a practicing vampire who is lives a bit of a bohemian lifestyle in an RV. He's a serial killer, of course, of sorts, because that's how he gets his blood. And he likes to be a bit raucous, listen to music. He's a bit of a hippie, and he's definitely stronger than everyone there because he drinks blood. And he shows up to help not get rid of the body. They've already gotten rid of that, but he's there to use his hypnotism powers on anyone to sort of keep them at bay from investigating. So that's kind of like the main conflict. However, the movie doesn't do a good job of adapting the book. The book is rather short, and there's a lot of story and world building in there that they sort of cut out. But however, there's not enough story for like a mini-series. So this wouldn't really work as it might work as like a 4-episode show, not 8. But I just feel like it definitely felt rushed. They cut some stuff out. The other main plot line is that Rowan, the teenager, he likes to take pictures of people because he's like always outside looking in, but then he starts drinking blood, and it gets him bolder, and he starts coming out of asking out the neighbor boy that he likes. They changed it from the book. In the book, it's a teenage girl neighbor. They changed it because the director is Euro Celine, who's a gay man, so he decided to change that up. And it doesn't really affect the story, but the original story does have some predatory stuff in it, because when you turn someone as a vampire, you do get control over them, and they sort of love you. So that they didn't really fix that in this movie. So it kind of feels like they should have maybe cut a character or made some major changes, because it starts with Clara killing this boy and, you know, start coming a little bit more confident with her blood, and then they just sort of shaft her, and then they bring in Rowan to have his story, and it doesn't really fit, I guess. It's just sort of, it's a coming of age sort of story, but a lot of the characters have nothing to do, really. I mean, Peter, he just sort of lusts over the blood of a woman patient, and then Helen has a secret, and there's not much going on. And I guess the movie just doesn't really capture the sort of world building as well. Like in the book, the vampires have their own secret societies. They have their own alternate bands. They have like people to help them cover up stuff. And they also introduce the neighbor boy. His father is like a invalid ex-cop who thinks they're vampires but doesn't really go anywhere, or there's not enough horror going on. They really didn't grab in the sort of theme of hiding yourself. They tried to do something with Rowan being gay or something, but it really just didn't make it executed well. And that might be because of the source material, but overall, I like Matt Haig, so I wanted to watch the movie. Damian Lewis does a pretty good job at doing double duty as the twin brothers, and I like Kelly. You know, she's always solid, but she's not given much to do. I kind of feel like the movie should have shafted one of the children and had Clara be like the coming of age, liking the neighbor instead. Maybe she's a closet gay or something. That would have probably been more original and sort of boiled down the elements, rather than having her do the incident and then nothing happens to her. She just sort of doesn't have a storyline after that. So overall, I think the movie kind of messed up the adaptation, but it's also difficult to do a book in only 2 hours or less. So I give the Radleys a 4 out of 10.